One of PlayStation's biggest exclusives is no longer exclusive. So this past weekend marks one of the biggest PlayStation releases on PC, and that is Spider-Man Remastered. Now, this has been a game that since they announced it was coming to PC, a lot of fanboys were upset about this, thinking that they were taking their prized possession away from their plastic box. Spider-Man, one of the biggest IPs out there, not only in video games, but just in general, did extremely well on the PlayStation 4 in terms of sales. And now coming to PC, a lot more people are going to be able to play this game. It is PlayStation's second biggest PC launch so far, just behind God of War. They say here the game reached 64,893 players at the time of writing, just under 10k fewer than God of War. So that's great to see that it's doing well, that people are playing it on PC, and people who haven't played it before or just wanted to pick it up and see what it looks like with their rig, looks better than it did on their PS4, are now being able to play it. Now, this is only the tip of the iceberg, and I think this is a big signal as to what is going forward within the video game industry. And you can take a look back to since the launch of Xbox Game Pass and then the launch of the Xbox Series X and S, how Xbox has really shaped the video game industry for the better going forward, which is getting these games available to more people. And we took a look at what Sony wants to do with their PC gaming and their PC gaming revenue. This was back in May. They said that they wanted to triple their PC gaming revenue in the next 12 months. For their 2021 fiscal year, they were sitting at $80 million from PC games, and they want to get that to $300 million going forward. And the release of Spider-Man Remastered is definitely going to help that. Now, when we take a look at their PC, they have this entire thing that nobody probably would have thought of before they started this generation, before they really considered putting their games onto PC, because of the way that the gaming industry was going, because they were seeing that even if you don't lock games exclusively to your console, you're still going to be able to sell that console, as that's clearly been proven this generation with the demand for the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S. Games aren't locked to the console, but people still want to buy those consoles. It's crazy how much demand there is, how many millions are selling off the shelf, how it's still 2 years into this generation, still very hard to pick up one of those consoles. So they went ahead with their PlayStation games for PC. Right now, God of War, Spider-Man, Days Gone, Horizon, Helldivers, and Predator Hunting Grounds are available. But what's coming soon is Spider-Man Miles Morales and Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection. Again, this is just the tip of the iceberg as to what is going to be coming from PlayStation Studios to PC, as I think we are soon going to start seeing their newer games coming on to PC day and date, or maybe just a few months or a few weeks after the actual release of the game itself. Spider-Man Miles Morales is a 2020 release game, came out with the launch of the PlayStation 5, and now it is already coming over to PC this fall. Now, when it comes to Spider-Man going to PC, it isn't the only other platform that you can actually play it, as there was this video put out here by Tom Warren that has been going around, and it has caused controversy, it has caused excitement, all that type of stuff, and it is playing Spider-Man on Xbox via the wireless display app, being able to stream Spider-Man from your PC over to your Xbox. It's obviously not natively on your Xbox, but they say here it looks great, it runs great. It's within the Xbox dashboard. You can see all your friends list and all that type of stuff. You can switch between your games. You're using an Xbox controller. And this would have never been available if this game wasn't on PC. But what else is interesting is that Tom Warren says here, I'm hoping one day I can do Halo on PS5, just need a web browser on the PS5 and the shenanigans will begin. And this is something a lot of people don't really talk about anymore, but there's still no web browser on the PlayStation 5, which I think is pretty absurd. It's not like a game-changing, game-breaking, console-breaking app to have, but I use it all the time on my Xbox. It definitely improves the quality of life of the console itself, and I have no idea why it isn't on the PlayStation 5. It just really doesn't make any sense. But Spider-Man on PC is just a good thing. No matter what people say, no matter what people think, this is a good thing, and more people get to play it. And like I said, more people are going to be playing PlayStation games on PC in the future. Jim Ryan has clearly said that. quoting here saying, PlayStation Studios historically has executed wonderfully in the delivery of strong portfolio of narrative-rich, graphically beautiful single-player games, but it's certainly the case that we have restricted ourselves to a rather narrow portion of the gaming market. By expanding to PC and mobile, and it must be said also to live services, we have the opportunity to move from a situation of being present in a very narrow segment of the overall gaming software market to being present pretty much everywhere. And when you think about the Activision Blizzard acquisition, you think about how this could affect them in terms of Call of Duty being one of those games that brings them in the most cash. They are going to have to continue to expand to offset what they are going to lose once the Activision Blizzard deal goes through. Now, I understand the game is still going to be staying on PlayStation, but they will lose players from Game Pass, from people wanting to play Call of Duty on Game Pass. They will lose new user acquisitions who have never played Call of Duty before, are just getting into gaming, and previously would have seen Call of Duty marketed with PlayStation because they have those marketing rights, now seeing it marketed with Xbox, and more likely than not are going to go and choose to play it on Xbox, especially with a deal like Xbox Game Pass, or if they are able to do something really smart, which is marketing the Xbox Series S 120 FPS with the upcoming Call of Duties. Those things will fly off the shelf, so they're going to have to figure out a way to offset the amount of revenue they're going to be losing after the Activision Blizzard deal goes through. And expanding to PC, expanding to mobile, expanding their subscription service is going to be a way to do that. So if you're against this type of stuff, if you're a fanboy of PlayStation and you think that this is the worst thing that can happen, and you hope it doesn't happen anymore by their first party games coming over to PC, or as their big first party games like Spider-Man and God of War and then Uncharted going forward, this is just the beginning. Their games are coming over to PC, and I think as we go through this generation, the games coming to PC are going to be a lot closer to the actual release date of those games on PlayStation. But that's it for me, guys. Let me know your thoughts on this. Are you going to be picking up Spider-Man on PC? And what are your thoughts about PlayStation going forward, not having their big console exclusives anymore by putting their games onto PC? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you're new here and you liked what you saw, consider hitting that subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for your support, and I'll catch you in the next video.
We'll be right back.